Hi, my name is Rob Vanderlinden. I'm here to give the year-end report in front of the school board and to talk about the success and the needs for the 2018-2019 athletic budget. Boonville High School currently has 19 sports, and instead of giving you all the information of all 19 sports at once, I broke it down into the 3 seasons: the fall, the winter, and the spring. First up will be the fall. Football started off with a record of 6-4. Last year's budget was $9,000. We stayed underneath the budget by $295. Recommendations for the year: I'm thinking of cutting the budget $2,500 because last year we purchased new uniforms and that is not a necessity this year, so we're going to cut the budget by $2,500 for next year. One other thing that goes along with football: we do need to hire an assistant coach. We have one retiring this year. Boys soccer had a record of 19-6, ended up making it to the sectionals of state, very successful. Their budget was $1,000. They were able to stay underneath it by $75. I'm going to want to increase that to $1,800 because they need a new set of home uniforms for next year. Softball went 11-12. They have a budget of $4,000, and they managed to stay underneath at $325. I'm going to leave the budget the same amount as next year. They purchased uniforms 2 years ago, and we do not need any new ones. But they're hoping to save a little bit more money so they can purchase a pitching machine for next year. Girls golf went 9-2 in duels and has a budget of $1,500. They actually went over their budget by $275. The overage in the budget was because it had 2 girls make it to state, and we had to pay hotel rooms that was not accounted for at the beginning of the year. They would like to have their budget increased by $3,000, basically $1,500 for the girls golf and $1,500 for the boys golf. They would like to go together and purchase a new set of rain gear that both teams could share. So that is one of the things that we're looking at for next year. Volleyball went 13-15 on their matches this year, has a budget of $3,000, and they were able to stay underneath their budget, $315. They need an assistant coach next year. Our assistant coach is leaving to go to a different school district. Girls tennis went 2-8 in duels. They have a budget of $1,500. They were able to stay underneath their budget, $55. I want to leave the budget the same for next year. Cheerleading had a budget of $1,000. They were able to stay underneath it, $155. Would like to add an additional $1,000 to their budget for next year. They would like to purchase 2 stunt mats for their practices and for the safety of the girls when they are stunting. And the last sport for the fall is our dance team. They also had a budget of $1,000. They just stayed underneath it by $20. I'm going to leave the budget the same, and we need to hire a new dance coach for the next school year. Next up is the winter sports. Boys basketball had a very successful season, making it to the district championship for the 3rd straight year, and has a budget of $5,000. They were able to stay underneath their budget by $325. I'm going to cut their budget to $4,000, cutting $1,000 off of it. They purchased new uniforms this year and do not need that extra money for next year. Girls basketball, on the other hand, had another successful season of 22-4. They had a budget of $4,000 and was able to stay underneath it, $175. I'm going to increase their budget, the $1,000 I'm taking from the boys, so they can purchase new uniforms for next year. Wrestling went 3-6 in duels and has a budget of $2,000. They stayed underneath their budget by $50. I want to leave it the same, but one need to know for the wrestling team is within the next year or 2, we are going to have to price out some wrestling mats. So we're going to have to come up with approximately $10,000 somewhere in the near future for wrestling mats. We think it'll last 1 to 2 more years. The winter cheerleaders had a budget of $1,000. They stayed underneath it by $215, and part of their is going to share the stunt mats with the winter or with the fall sports. So part of their budget needs to be increased also to help share that. The winter dance team had a budget of $1,000, stayed underneath it by $50. I want to increase it $400 to pay for new uniforms, and again, also need a new head coach for that sport. Going on to the spring season, 6 sports in the spring, starting out with baseball, made it to the Final Four this last year with a record of 21-3. They have a budget of $5,000. They went over the budget by $775. Again, unexpected trip and putting 30 kids up and 4 coaches into a hotel ended up putting us over the budget. Would like to increase it to $6,000 for next year for new home uniforms. Boys golf went 3 and 4 in duels. They have a budget of $1,500. They stayed underneath their budget by $75, and they would like to, again, we'd like to increase that a little bit to share with the girls golf team so they can get new rain gear. Boys tennis was 1 and 5 in duels and had a budget of $1,500. They stayed underneath the budget by $125. We need a new head boys tennis coach, and my recommendation is to look at the girls coach. The girls coach seemed interested in it, has done a good job in the past, and my recommendation is to hire the girls coach for the boys team also. Girls soccer was 21 and 4, had an outstanding year, made it to sectionals, had a budget of $1,000, was able to stay underneath it. Would like to increase it to $2,500 for new uniforms for them. Boys track has a budget of $2,000, stayed under it $175. Would like to increase it $4,000 for new warm-up sweats for both the boys and the girls. We'd split that money between the boys team and the girls track team, so raising each of them $2,000. And we need a new assistant head coach for the boys team. Girls track team, again, would need a $1,000 increase for the new warm-ups, and they were able to stay underneath their budget by $50. In summary, in the 2017-2018 athletic budget, we had a budget of $48,000. We spent $46,455, and we were under budget by $1,545. Our request and the request that we put in for the next year, we would like that raised to $53,000. 2 teams went over their budget because of hotel costs and state tournaments that were unexpected. Otherwise, the other 17 coaches were able to stay underneath their budget, and overall, we stayed underneath our budget as an athletic program. One highlight that I mentioned earlier is we need to plan for new wrestling mats for either the 2018-2019 season or the 2019-2020 season. We need to hire 5 coaches for the 2018-2019 school year, 2 head coaches and 3 assistants. The head coach, again, was for the dance team. That would be for fall and winter both. The head girls tennis coach, the head boys tennis coach, and I recommended doing the girls tennis coach take that position. We need an assistant boys track coach. We need an assistant coach for volleyball. And my recommendation there is to move up one of the middle school coaches, and then again we would need a coach at the middle school level. An assistant football coach whose specialty is offensive and defensive line. And it just keeps going and going and going.
You can cut it off, can't you?